Well, hello. Happy to see you guys again. Well, I mean, you're looking out at my backyard, so we're not really seeing each other, but you know what I mean. It is the Soul Search Sunday, or, well, in this case, it's more like a mindfulness Monday, because it is Monday. Yesterday, I fully intended to get this episode out, but things got a little bit crazy. In fact, things have been a little bit crazy in a good way, just a lot of projects happening all at the same time. So anyway, uh, and yeah, listen to that. The Amazon device just gave me a notification. Um, so I already mentioned the date is November 20, 2023 on Music Monday earlier. Before we proceed with this video, let's get a message from our sponsor.
Welcome to my parlor. Welcome, traveler, to the Hidden Corner Finds. I am Joanne, and this is my humble store. Pull up a chair, stay a while, make yourself at home. What? Oh, you want to know what I'm selling? Everything and anything. In short, I have a passion for. Ugh, why did it just bleep me? All I said was, I have a passion for picking, I said. Yeesh. You can't say anything on YouTube these days without this censorship. Anyways, as I was saying, I have a passion for picking. For me, there is nothing more satisfying than finding a unique and forgotten item and uniting it with someone who will really appreciate it for years to come. Whether it's a soapstone carving, an old book, or simply a mug to make you laugh, I try and find something for everyone. My goal is to make you a confident buyer. Older items often have a lifetime of stories to tell. I strive to describe the good as well as the bumps and bruises they've experienced along the way. It's important that the pictures reflect what you will receive. To that end, I always encourage questions and will do my best to respond as quick as possible. Appreciate you stopping by the store. If you can't find what you're looking for, please don't hesitate to contact me. I'm always looking for new ideas and will keep an eye out for your item in my travels.
I mean, what the happened to my action figure collection?
Whoops, gotta go. Bye.
So there's an old joke. I'm sure some of you might have heard this one before. It goes something like, after dinner, um, the mom and the daughter are in the kitchen washing dishes, putting things away, while the dad and the uh, son are sitting in the living room watching football game. And suddenly they heard a loud crash in the kitchen, and then dreadful silence. And the dad looked over at the son and said, "Oh, who do you think broke the dishes?" And the son said, "Oh, I'm sure mom did it." Dad said, "How can you tell?" And the son said, "Well, because if it was not her, she would be screaming her head off now, bitching out my sister. So since it's dead silent, obviously she's the one that broke it." Yeah, I know, a little bit of a cold joke, but uh, while a lot of us can definitely relate to that, I think some of us can relate to a slightly different scenario, which is sometimes even when mom's the one that broke the dishes, mom's still going to yell and bitch someone out. And it will usually come in the form of mom turning to the daughter after mom broke the dishes. Mom's going to turn to the daughter and say, I told you to help me. What? Yes. Well, how come you're so useless? How come you just stand there? Why were you in my way? Why didn't you step out of the way? Look what you did. Now I dropped the dishes. And then mom's going to storm into the living room and yell at the son and the dad. And then, what? You two just sitting there watching football game? What, you think I'm your housemaid? You don't know how tired I am? If you were helping, then that dish wouldn't have gotten broken. And suddenly, it's no longer mom's fault. Suddenly, it's everybody else's fault. And I'm using mom here as an example because that was the original joke. But I think most of us can relate to that, and we would have someone in our lifetime that always trying to shift the bad feeling, try to shift the blame, try to say it's someone else's fault. It's never their own fault. It's always someone else's fault. Who knows? Maybe you yourself do that sometimes. Maybe you yourself is someone who does that. Uh, I know that there are times when I definitely feel a little bit petulant, and when I make a mistake and I feel a little bit petulant and want to shift that blame elsewhere. Um, but there are some people that just do that all the time. They never take responsibility. Usually, people who do that, people who play the blame game, have two ways they operate. One is it's never their fault. No, no. It's always your fault. It's always someone else's fault. It's the fault of the world. It's the fault of the economy. It's the fault of the floor being slippery. It's the fault that there was a fly flying past their face. It can be anyone else's fault, but it's not their fault. My father happened to fall into that category. Um, the second, just as obnoxious, okay, the second one is, okay, so it's my fault. So what? You're telling me you don't ever make a mistake? If not because of your mistake, I wouldn't have made a mistake. So it's still your fault. Yes, I made a mistake, but it's because of you. Okay, so in this case, the person acknowledges their fault. They made a boo-boo, but they somehow make it sound justified that they get mad at you because of their mistake, because it was your mistake that caused them to make a mistake. So the responsibility ultimately still lie with you. These people just don't know how to gracefully say, "Hey, look, I messed up. Okay, I'm sorry, I messed up. That was silly of me." They always want to play the blame game. So what causes people to play the blame game? Today we'll look at three most common reasons for people to do that. Reason number one is that this person is an adult child. We talked about adult babies, adult infant, adult child in our last Soul Search Sunday, when someone grows up and has never learned to face harsh consequences, has never learned to take responsibilities. Um, Now, when I talk about adult child, adult baby, I don't mean this in a derogative, negative way. I mean this is a real problem. This is a real condition. So it's not as simple as calling someone, "Hey, how come you're so childish? Why don't you stop being a baby and learn to take responsibility?" No, it's not as simple as that. When people grow up and there's part of them or all of them that remains an adult child, it's not very easy to fix, okay? Because to try to force them to fix it instantaneously, it's almost like trying to force a child to grow up instantaneously. Uh, while their body, their physical attributes are adult, there's a big part of their psyche that still that of a child. So these people will shift blame onto other people because most of the time, most of their life, they have been treated like the prince or the princess by people who were looking after them. Take this one for example. How many times have we seen this? Let's say a child walk across the room and trip over the door jamb and fall down and the child start crying and then the mom or the dad or the uncle will go over, "Oh, no, no, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, this is the door jam, it's not your fault, it's a door jam. Yeah, I know the door jam is stupid. We'll get rid of the door jam, everything is okay, it's okay." Don't do that. Okay, when you do that, you're doing a lot of harm to the child because you are teaching the child, "Oh, it's not your fault, it's the door jam." How could it be the door jam's fault? The door jam was there, didn't walk around, it hurt anybody. You walking into the door jam, you tripping over something, that's totally your fault. Okay, children need to learn to take responsibility. Um, when kids fail their exam, a lot of time adults, oh, you try your best. You know, your teacher is kind of a bit of an a-hole. Yeah, you're doing that to make the child feel good, but you're also teaching your child not to take responsibility. So a lot of people get this kind of treatment from their parents. They're the princess, they're the prince, and they grow up and they start to unconsciously, subconsciously, they start to feel that nothing is because of them, because they are the golden child. They are the best. They are the most uh, perfect person in the world. On the intellectual level, they know that's not true. But on the emotional level, they feel that that's true because that's how they have been taught by their parents. They can do anything, they can do nothing wrong. And when that happens, when there's a part of the psyche that feels that way, that thinks that way, then anytime something happens, the person will not be able to take responsibility. If the food gets burned, then it's the stove, the pot, it's the spatula, the cut of meat. It's not their own problem. If the, uh, the glass get knocked off the table and breaks, then it's a stupid table. It's a stupid whoever that put the glass there in the first place, and the glass is too high, it falls over too easily. Or you were talking to them and you distracted them, so it's not their fault. There's a lot of that going on, and it's come out almost offhandedly, almost automatically, because in their mind they are not at fault. And when you try to insist that they're at fault, that they have some responsibility, they feel that you or the whole world is against them. They feel that you got something against them, that you're targeting them, and they get sad and they get mad and throw a temper tantrum. They don't want to talk to you ever again. Uh, yeah, sounds very familiar, right? I mean, most of us have run into people like that in our lifetime. So, how do you deal with someone like this? How do you deal with an adult child? Well, you got to slowly but firmly explain to them that it was partly their responsibility. Don't coddle them. Don't play along with them. Don't fulfill their fantasy for them, because the more you do that, the more you reinforce that adult child in their head. Uh, and if you find yourself that you're like that, if you are yourself an adult child, if you find that you have your adult child moment, then you can fix that by keeping an open mind. Okay? Anytime when someone tell you it's your fault, don't automatically go to, oh, so you just want to target me, you just want me to feel bad, so you want me to hate myself, so you want me to be feel responsible. Don't go into that lashing out and feeling sorry for yourself and victim mode. Okay, keep an open mind. Ask yourself, was it really my fault? Did I really maybe wasn't paying attention? Did I really knock that over? Did I really make a mistake? Maybe they are right, because when you really think about it, if you have the same problem over and over and over again with different people, different groups, different places, different projects, then obviously you are the problem. I'm sorry, it is that blunt, that direct. If you keep running into the same issue, then you are the problem. Then you need to fix it. Other people, they're not responsible for you to feel like you're the golden child. Other people not responsible for having to play into that fantasy. The second reason why a lot of people will play the blame game, it's called inferiority complex. This is almost like the opposite of the inner child, but just as dreadful, just as bad. Um, inferiority complex. The Chinese is coming out. What can I say? Uh, this is when the person feels like he or she is the inferior party in the group, in this group dynamic they find themselves in. They feel they are the smallest, whether by stature or by authority. They feel that they are the weakest. They feel that they are somehow the least important or the least listened to. They are the minority. When people carry that inferiority complex around, they will tend to lash out and uh, blame a lot of things on other people because obviously you guys are so good, you guys are so mighty, you guys are so wonderful. I'm just a little old me. So if anything go wrong, that obviously have to be your fault because I am already weak. I already suck. I know I suck. So you guys are so mighty. So you guys take the responsibility. Yeah, there's that kind of thing going on in their head. Um, this is one reason why, uh, going back to our joke at the beginning of the video, this is why a lot of moms, a lot of women, will lash out and blame and uh, do the I'm going to bitch you out even though it's my fault kind of game because women as a general rule have been suppressed and neglected and downplayed for a long time in our society. So even in a household, a lot of time women do feel that they are the minority. They do feel that they are the weak ones. Uh, they feel that they don't have as much of the voice because the husband makes all the money, the husband bigger, the husband can beat them up, or the husband owns a house, or various reasons. There are many reasons why women feel that they are the weak link, they are the downtrodden, they are the minority in the group dynamic. And that will cause them to be very vocal and very prone to lashing out with the blames and trying to shove responsibilities up in other people's faces. um, Disabled people, myself included, sometimes will fall into that trap as well because as disabled people, we always kind of feel that we are at a disadvantage when we are in a group dynamic. When I'm blind and I'm out with a bunch of uh, friends who can see, I automatically feel that I always have to go where they go because otherwise I don't know how to get home. They are the one driving, so I have to defer to them. So in this case, I feel that I am the weak link. I am the downtrodden. I'm the one who's oppressed. So in this case, even when I don't actively think about it, if anything was to go wrong, let's say we miss our plane, let's say we missed our bus or we get to a destination too late, I automatically might shift that blame onto my sighted compatriot because, hey, you guys are sighted, you guys are the one that were driving, so it's all your fault. Uh, so that's just one quick example that come out sometimes. So how do you deal with people who are like that? How do you deal with people who uh, play the blame game, who lashes out with uh, trying to push responsibility onto other people and try to place blame onto other people because they feel inferior. Well, this one is actually a little bit easier when you sense that, when you feel that, when you know this is what's going on. As their friend, as their family, it is your job to reassure them that they are not inferior rather than trying to coddle them and tell them, oh yeah, it's not your fault because you're blind. It's our fault because we are the one we were driving. Uh, when it's justified, let them take the responsibility, right? When it's justified, let them take the responsibility. Um, when because while at the time when it happens, they may feel bad taking the responsibility. They may feel that you are trying to pile blame on them. Afterward, they actually will feel good because they will feel, hey, I was I was an equal partner. I was treated equally, so everybody got blamed. I got blamed, so that's fine. Uh, I I I didn't get a kid glove. I didn't get treated like I was a weak link. So treating them with dignity, treating them equally, and don't coddle them. Is a good way to deal with that. What if you yourself are that person? What if you are a disabled person or a minority and you deal with inferiority complex and you tend to lash out and place blame on other people because of that? Well, if you are like that, if you find yourself doing that, then it is time to man up, to stand up and tall and take on responsibility and trust in yourself that you are not weak, you're not you're not the problem, you're not immune to being the problem. You're just like anyone else. So if you want to be just like anyone else, then you need to acknowledge that you make mistakes just like anyone else, and you got to be okay with that. Also, very important, if you suffer from inferiority complex, if you operate from a place of minority, inferiority, then it's very important to only do things that you want to do. Okay, don't be the martyr. Don't do the victim mode, and don't do the okay, I'm blind and they're sighted, so I'm going to do whatever they want because obviously they have more voice than I do. No, don't do that. Other people may do that to you, but you shouldn't do that to yourself. When you do that to yourself, you build up resentment in your head, and you're making sacrifices that other people don't even acknowledge. And you think that uh, you saying yes to doing this project or going this place, you think that you're making a sacrifice, but your friends, your family, the people you're with, they don't think of it as a making a sacrifice. They just heard you say yes. Uh, Kind of like the old adage of if I ask you, what do you want for dinner, and you keep saying, well, whatever you want, well, then I'm going to choose whatever I want, and that might be hot dog every day. No, I don't like hot dogs that much, but you know what I mean. Like, eventually you are going to explode, right? Eventually you are going to, why do you only want one hot dog? Why don't you eat something else? And then I'm going to look at you. I'm going to go, well, yeah, but I asked you what you wanted. You didn't make a choice. So you asked me. I want hot. I'm okay with hot dog every day. So in this case, I am not thinking that you're doing this to make a sacrifice. To me, I am not acknowledging. I'm not registering that you don't want hot dog every day. I just hear what you say. You say yes. Okay, whatever you want. Then I pick hot dog every day. So if you suffer from inferiority complex, then make sure you have a voice. Make sure yes is yes, no is no. Don't make compromises and start building up that poor old little me. I have to sacrifice for you guys thing in your head because it will just be in your head. Other people won't acknowledge it. And when you finally explode and lash out and start blaming others for your problem, they won't care. They won't like that. They won't let you get away with it. And you will end up feeling really, really bad yourself. No one else will. You're the one that's going to feel bad. Okay? So give yourself a voice. Stand tall and strong. You're just as valuable as anyone else. So don't treat yourself that way. Stop being a martyr. Stop being a victim. The third reason, last but not least, why people play the blame game, why people lash out with blames and try to push responsibility onto other people. It's from childhood trauma. This one is probably the most common reason why this happened. A lot of time, well, let me get this one uh, and see if you guys recognize this. Okay, let's say your parent, it can be your mom or your dad, they come home, they buy you food, and then they say, hey, I got you McDonald's, come eat, come eat. And then you go and you sit down and you start eating, and suddenly they yell at you, uh, slow down, what are you, you're eating like a pig, why are you using your hand? So, like, and you feel like, WTF, like, you were being nice to me. You bought me food. You told me to come eat, and now you're giving me shit. So what the hell, dude? Honestly, they themselves don't even know. Like, unless your parents are very self-aware and very smart, very clever, and very wise, like Johnny Tiger. um, a lot of people don't even know why they are doing that. Okay, from their perspective, they bought you food, they're feeling good, they give you the food, they're feeling good, and then they watch you eat, and then suddenly something you do, something the way you sit, the way you eat, triggers something that makes them red hot angry, and they have to bitch you out. They have to say something, and they after they say something that hurt your feeling, they themselves might go, "Why did I just do that? That wasn't called for. Why did I just do that? I mean, come on." If at this point they actually look inside and try to figure out why they did that, then that means this person is very enlightened. This person is very clever. But unfortunately, most people don't. A lot of people, when they say, "Why did I just do that?" Well, because he was eating too fast. He was using his hand. He didn't even wash his hand. And look at it. He didn't even offer me some of that French fries. I bought the French fries, and he did, so it's his fault. And he pissed me off. That's why. But they'll justify it this way. Okay? They'll shift the blame onto you, who, again, they just uh, do a verbal bitch slap without proper justification. But now they'll find ways to justify it. Uh, my mom, for example, she'll do something like, well, he was eating like a pig. I don't want him to eat like that in public, so I'm telling him because that's what I'm supposed to do. I'm his mom. That's what I'm supposed to do. That's how she would justify that, right? My dad, after he beat us up when we were children, like we were there bleeding and crying and like on the floor, and my dad is like, you think this is bad? I'm just trying to teach you a lesson. So you don't go out, and when you go into society, you think people are going to go easy on you. So I'm teaching you now, so you don't make the same mistake later. You don't piss people off. So like he somehow shift that. He justify that. He shift that onto us. Okay. So a lot of this, like I said, our last point of the day, come from childhood trauma. How do I know this? Because I feel it too, right? A lot of time when people are, for example, when I'm eating with my friends, I eat really, really fast, and sometimes my friends are eating very slowly, and they'll, oh, Johnny, sorry, we're still eating. You have to wait for us, and I'm like, I'm smiling. I'm like, yeah, yeah, okay, it's okay, take your time. Inside my head, I'm red hot angry. I'm like, you guys just like wasting my bloody time. Like I could have been home making videos, and here I'm sitting here trying to talk to you guys, and all you guys do is talk, 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 talk. Why don't you eat your food? Eat your food and then talk later. Like inside my head, that's what's going on, right? But the difference is I don't lash out because of it. I don't let it come out because I understand where this come from. I look inside and I realize that this is because when I was little, we were never allowed to have a conversation at the dinner table. When I was little, if you were eating and if you try to have a conversation, my dad would either slap you in the face or take your food away and tell you to go to your room. Because his idea was, well, if you want to talk, then obviously you're not hungry, then you don't eat. So I have that childhood trauma in me, but that's no one else's fault. Well, maybe my dad's fault, but no one else's fault. Uh, so I am aware of that, so I don't let that come out. But a lot of time people will let that influence them. A lot of time people will lash out and blame things on others because of something that happened to them years and decades ago that other people have no control over. But if you ever catch yourself doing that, then uh, it is the time to have an inner conversation with yourself. Dude, why did you just do that? Dude, you know that was totally messed up. You know you were wrong. Apologize. It's time to be honest with yourself. Because if you let yourself justify it and get away with it, it will just get worse and worse, and eventually you will drive people away from you. If you notice that other people are doing that, if you have a friend, a family member that does that because of some past trauma, they constantly lash out at you. Don't make it so it's okay. Don't let them get away with it. Confront them. Say, dude, hey, I'm sorry you're blind, but I did not make you blind. Okay? I'm sorry, but this is not my issue. I didn't cause this issue. So it's not cool to get mad at me, to lash out at me because you're blind. Okay? Every time they do that, you need to confront them about that because they need to be aware of what they're doing. People who blame and lash out due to childhood trauma, childhood shame. This is a very powerful word, shame. Uh, there are a lot of workshops done on that topic. When people feel shame, people will lash out. When people feel shame, people will be angry. When people feel shame, people will try to make sure that other people having a bad time as well. So a lot of these childhood shame, childhood trauma, sneak up on us and take us unaware, and we lash out at people. And then, if people let us get away with it, or if we let ourselves get away with it, we become unaware and we try to justify our action, and that will just turn into a great big vicious circle. So today we took a look at three reasons why someone would be constantly bitchy. Someone would constantly be lashing out and placing blames on the other. The whole world is their enemy. Number one, because this person might be a big adult baby, adult child. Number two, this person may have some degree of inferiority complex. And number three, it's probably some kind of childhood trauma, childhood shame that caused them to do that. I hope that this has been useful and uh, hope this helped you guys somewhere down the road during your social relation, making friends, getting along with your family.